All right, I think that's about it for the members and guests. I welcome you all for coming out tonight. We got a full agenda, plethora of stuff to go through. We try to update our mentor list, which is on the back of the Gold Dust Gazette. We called some of the older mentors to see if they still wanted to be involved, but we are always looking for new people to help out on the claims. Because we have a lot of new members coming through, especially now. All the, I call them snowbirds, and people after the Gold Show will be in town, and they're going to be chomping at the bit to go out prospecting. So we need as many of our season. I know, Roland, I see you peeking your head up over there. You can't do it all, brother. You can't do it all. If there's anybody interested who's been in the club a while who can take some of these people under their wing, we would appreciate it. Come up and see us when you get a chance. The first thing I had on my docket was approval of Gavin. Where's Gavin Hickson? There he is, the baby, yeah. The baby is gonna, has agreed to be our new first-year board. We approved him as the board, but we never approved them as the membership. So now I have to ask, is there anybody else in the meeting who would be interested in being our first year board? And if nobody speaks now, Gavin's roped into it Gavin's it for the next year. Does anybody object to Gavin? So I need to make a motion to accept Gavin as first year board for the club for the next year. Okay, anyone second? All in favor? Aye. All opposed? You're the man. Welcome, Gavin. And that brings us to our claims committee. We had Daniel was our claims committee, and he had to take a leave because he had bad knees and health issues, so he couldn't commit to doing it anymore. So right now we're kind of in a rut where it comes to our cleanups, and we're looking for a person who may want to step up and be the claims committee chairperson. They don't have to do it all. I mean, a lot of this club, there's more than one person that helps out, but we do need like a head, somebody who would, be a committee member to the board. So if there's any interest, don't be shy, We may even think of snowbirds who are only in for the winter. You can see this lovely young lady at the break, and she'll get the blood test and all that figured out.
Donna and Wayne have agreed to take this weekend's claims cleanup, so thank you guys for stepping up. If anybody wants to help them, we have a sign-up sheet at the, actually Bill will sign you up. He's taking over for the night. So they've agreed to take the signage, take the sign-up sheets. There's a pay dirt raffle for one for every 3 members. Make sure you guys get gold bags from Mark. So if anybody is interested in heading up to Soldier Boy this weekend and learn where the claims are and help them out, it'd be appreciated. If you could talk to Don and Wayne and or sign up at the sign-up sheet table, that'd be great. And Stan, where's Stan at? Where'd Stan go? Yeah. Are you still gonna do next month, or are you off the table? Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So, that's how I learned when I got into the club. I first started going, I went to Woody's house, and I did, he kind of showed me the basics and panning and all that, and then from there, I just started going to the cleanups when they had them and kind of met the same group of people, every time I went to the cleanups, and, then they became friends, and now I'm up here, so you meet a lot of people in the club, and, that's a good way to get started. I had some other stuff on here about explaining the nugget drawings. I'm going to kind of skip over that because we're kind of really pressed for time tonight. Does anybody have any questions for me at all? Anybody? speak now? Okay, we're going to move along to our vice president. Ready to go.
All right, I am Karen. I'm Randy's better half, and I am the vice president this year for the GPAP. I'm also the media coordinator. I'll get to that later on, but I wanted to talk about our training committee. We're trying to implement a training committee. We need members to come out and help us formulate a plan for training classes. Everybody wants to be trained. Everybody wants to learn. We'd like to set up some formal stuff. Now, I've got a formal training class set up for the Common Dig. Mike Slater is here somewhere. Or you, Mike, way back there. Mike has agreed to do a drone operation field class at our Common Dig. And we have a sign-up sheet for that. You need to sign up. If we get enough people, Mike has agreed to do 2 sessions, so morning and afternoon. We also have an off-road safety class scheduled for the end of March, and Glenn McConnell's going to handle that for us. There's a sign-up sheet for that also. That's going to be at the Table Mesa Recreation Area. So that's what we've got set up for now. I'd love to have a couple people step forward and say, I got some ideas, and take it and run with it. It's all yours. You got the idea, you put it together, and we run, and we make this club even better than it is. I've got 150 people here tonight. You guys have to have some ideas. And if 10 people give 10%, we've got 100%. It doesn't have to be a lifetime commitment. It can be a 1-month commitment. Maybe you guys know someone who have some skills that they'd like to offer us, and they can hold a class at our picnic. Any ideas. We'll take any ideas that you guys have, but I'd really like to get this rolling because that's what the members asked for, and that's what I'd like to give them, okay? Tonight, I'm going to keep rolling because we're tight on time. Gavin's wife, Erin, is back there somewhere. She works for the Phoenix Police Department, and she is in the crime lab. So she has agreed to do a presentation for us tonight on crime scene forensics. So I think that's going to be a pretty interesting show. And next month's guest speaker will be Glenn again, and Glenn's going to do an off-road safety presentation to go hand in hand with this off-road safety class. We will have either a guest speaker or a training video or an informational video every meeting this year. Okay, so that's changed from last year. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is the equipment raffle. Those are going to be the blue tickets, and this will go next month, April. This is a Royal Sluice with a pump, and then our second prize is going to be this camel pack, water camel pack for when you're out in the desert. And then we'll have April. We do our equipment raffles 3 times a year. So April, August, and December. That's all I've got for Vice President. Any questions? Good. Moving on.
Okay, yeah, I handed out those new member surveys. When you fill them out, just leave them up here at the break, so I get them back from you. Secretary? Secretary?
I'm Carolyn Taylor. I've been the secretary with the club for a while. It's going to be open the end of the year. Anybody interested?
Yeah, Carolyn's been doing it quite a while. We don't read off a lot of the minutes. We do that at the board meeting, and we do post them. We are going to post them to our Google Drive to, just in case some people want the minutes who can't make the meetings. So, treasurer, our beloved treasurer. Oh, don't run up here. Don't charge the stage.
Evening, folks. My name is Mark. I'm the new treasurer. I'd like to just give you a quick rundown because we're trying to get to the presentation part of the evening. As of January 1st, we had a balance of $17,170.14. We had raffle income and shirt sales and et cetera of $19,042. We had expenses of $7,302. It sounds like a lot, but we spent $5,400 on gold. All right. There was some other stuff. It's available up here with the secretary as far as the line item breakdown. I'm not going to go over it to speed up the time. But the big items were we bought 4 tires for a trailer. and the insurance for the club. Were the two pretty big items that we had to pay for. Current gold inventory we have at today's close of spot was $5,076. We had net cash after expenditures of $11,815. With the gold inventory, we have a current balance of $16,871. There's a few other things I'd like to talk about for the gold show. If you people have purchased raffle tickets, you saw the 2 specimen nuggets. Those are going to be raffled off at the gold show, one for Saturday and one for Sunday. Blue ticket and red ticket. Blue ticket is for Saturday, red ticket is for Sunday. You don't need to be present, but you do need to put your name on the back of the ticket so we know who you are if you're not a present. Second thing is made a little bit visualization on the ticket buckets, painted them red, yellow, and blue. I don't know if that is going to help anybody, but I did it anyhow. The Common Dig is going to be coming up in March. We anticipate a lot of people showing up. If we have as many people showing up as we do tonight, plus Randy and Karen have been getting phone calls off the hook from out-of-staters that are going to be here, snowbirds coming down visiting friends and this, that, and the other. During that time frame, we anticipate a huge turnout. Now, the claims person, Dan, which stepped aside, normally took care of getting the meat and everything for the barbecue. This is, again, most of the older members know that it's a potluck. You can check, we'll discuss that probably next meeting as far as what to bring and those things. I will pick up the meat and the charcoal and stuff that we're going to need to barbecue, but we're going to need some home grillers to assist us. If you can burn a hot dog or burn a hamburger, we would greatly appreciate somebody stepping up at the outing and help us out. We can't all do it. With the board can't do it all, but we're looking for some help. So if you can contact or give Leo your name that you'd be interested, we'd like to form a little committee for the barbecuing. Anyhow, the last thing on my list, all the records that we're going forward now are on Quicken and being scanned, so they'll be electronically filed. So we're trying to do away with a lot of paperwork. We're going to have the reimbursement receipts. It's a new format. It's got a new club logo on it. And when you need reimbursement for club expenditures, I will reimburse you either via cash or electronic, however is most convenient for you. That's about all I have to say. I'm going to pass it back over to Randy.
Anybody have any questions for Mark? Not at all?
Yeah, where's my copy? I gave you one.
Anybody but Carolyn? All right, we're going to move right along to Malcolm. He's our senior board. He's going to tell you all about himself.
Hello everyone, I'm Malcolm. I'm your senior board. I'm in charge of issuing ID cards. Those of you who came to me earlier, your ID cards are ready. You can pick them up at the break. Any other new members need an ID card, come see me and we'll get you one. Anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Yeah, they don't cost you anything, so if you have your ID card, might as well get one of our, our badges made up. So, Rob Munter coming up. He's got some pressing issues, I'm sure.
Hello, I'm Rob. You've seen me before up here. Nothing special. I did happen to purchase 5 new books today for the library, and I'm going to continue doing that once a month so we can build the library up even better. But we do have a plethora of books, magazines, whatever you want to take out, just sign out. You bring it back next month and we'll be really happy. If anybody wants to donate books, bring them on in. We'll add them to the library.
Or a brick.
No bricks. Don't bring any bricks. We have one already. Is there any questions for anything on the library? Any questions at all about anything in life? All right. Thank you very much.
All right, well, we'll bring our first year board. Where is he at, Gavin? Oh, there he is, sneaking up on me.
What's up, everybody, and thanks for vote me in tonight. I guess we'll find out at the end of the year anyways. My name's Gavin Hickson. I've been doing this gold prospecting thing about 3 years. And this will be, I'll be your first year board for the remainder of 2016. Basically, I'm responsible for the GPAP trailer. For those of you who didn't know, the Phoenix chapter of the Gold Prospectors Association has a beautiful enclosed trailer. Hauls around a bunch of goodies for you guys for the common digs and that sort of thing. Got some really cool toys in there for you guys to use. There's some Keen dry washers. We have a gold well sluice. It was just donated last month by Bernie. There's a blue bowl, some small recirculators. And as far as shade, there's 2 10x20 canopies and a large 10x30 canopy when we're out there at the outings. Lots of tables and all that good stuff, but make sure you bring your own chair. They don't have enough chairs for everybody, so just bring your own chair to the outings for sure. Trailer's in awesome shape thanks to Rob. Rob had it last year. We did just put 4 brand new tires on it. They were getting super old. One of them had a blowout, so 4 brand new tires on there. As far as the next 2 scheduled outings, you're looking at March 19th, which is the Spring Common Dig out at Golden Dreams in Morristown, and then again on April 16th is the GPAP Spring Picnic, also at Golden Dreams in Morristown. Super easy claim to get to. You guys can all get out there, no problem. There's maps available if you need, if you're a member and you have your mining guide. Golden Dreams, once again, is the name of the claim in Morristown. And that's about it. If you have any questions for me, take them now. All right.
I have a question. We are going to have to invest a little money in that gold well we got donated. You know, a little bit of money to get it up and running. I talked to Woody. He's got one that's double the size of that, and I'm gonna probably bring mine out. We're gonna have the clubs, and we're gonna have Woody's, and we are gonna run a hell of a lot of dirt at that common dig we have. So I mean, I'm expecting I get almost 150 people to show up to this thing. It wouldn't surprise me. So I don't know where we're going to park them all, but it's a lot of people who are going to be digging some dirt. So we need to have our dry washer set up, all of our equipment. And the way for you that don't know, the way the common dig works, we all run the stuff through our machines, our dry washers, our sluices. We clean it up, pan it down to the black sand, and then we put it in baggies, and we have what we call like a last man standing raffle. Everybody who works at the common dig gets a raffle ticket, and I'll pull a bag out of and the last guy who's got the ticket, after everybody's drawing, gets all the bags that are left. So it's kind of fun to do it that way. So you could end up with, 30 or 40 bags of gold at the end if you're the last guy. So moving along, where are we at now? I don't know. Oh, this is claims committee. I talked about that earlier, how we don't have somebody.
Right, Rob over there. You want to come up and do? Rob has something to share with us that that feels important.
Okay,
He's gonna give us a little 5-minute.
He's going to give us a little 5-minute presentation of something he wants to show us. What do we need here?
Rob's one of our newer members, and he's trying to talk to the help on the claims committee, but he's kind of having a on. So.
This thing is bigger than that.
Well, can you shrink it? You can go up and down.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's going to get out of focus. And I can't raise it up.
Put a book underneath it.
Okay, this is kind of
Yeah,
on page.
Here.
On page CL17 and CL18, I had a question about the longitude and latitude not matching up with the map. And I wasn't able to get any answers, and I contacted the GPAA directly. What's that guy's name? Walt?
Walt Eason.
Walt Easton, the gentleman got in touch with me and emailed me the new coordinates, and I plugged them into my tablet here. And what it's showing is that in your book, these claims right here are wrong on the map. They're actually supposed to be like this one right here, where they all line up on the edge right here. Now this claim right here, this is Dumb Luck, AU1, AU2, and Yahoo something. Well, Golden Dreams lines up on the edge right here. Now, my question to him, and I double checked it again with him, is about the layout of Golden Dreams, because out in the field, it doesn't match up. Out in the field, it's right here, and I double checked. I walked out there to both corners, and they end up being short. So we're like 345,600 square feet of claim that we're not using, that's being paid for, and it's not marked right. Maybe. He said to double check with you guys.
Yes, sir.
I'm a member of the Roadrunners Club also. If you go back to some of your old claims guides, they're correct. When they revised Golden Dreams and stretched it out to the west, they moved the 3 or 4 claims below there over with it, which they should not have done.
Who did that? GPAA or?
GPAA, when they put out the last claims guide. And what they did when they extended Golden Dreams, they moved all of those below it over with it.
Does anybody have an old claims guide that maybe we can,
I've given
maybe one
them
from like
to
5 years ago or
everybody
something?
and nothing gets done.
Yeah.
Okay, what I have from Walt, Rob emailed Walt, and Walt copied me. This is the new page. I have copies of the new page that's going into the next mining guide, and he did make corrections. So the coordinates are correct here. Did you take a look at this? Okay, are these right?
I plotted them.
Yeah.
I plotted them, and they do move over. And I asked him about Golden Dreams, if it was correct. I asked him twice about Golden Dreams. He verified that this is what they submit to BLM, and that the map in the book that shows Golden Dreams is correct. Okay, it goes across Ox Wash. If you go out there and look at that corner, the northwest and the southwest corners, they're short of Ox Wash. You can see the other claim marker to Yahoo 2 or something like that on the hill on the opposite side of Ox Wash, and that's where Golden Dreams is actually supposed to be. But he said to double check the records here with the GPAP, just to verify.
I do have a newer member who's going to help me out with claims. He's pretty good at it, at plotting them and pulling them up on maps, so I'll ask him to help out. But in the meantime, Walt did send this new page that's going to be published, so if anybody wants to take a look at it, and I only have like 20 copies, but if anybody wants to grab it and maybe research it a little bit and let us know, they're more than welcome to.
Can you put that on the web and we print it ourselves?
I can't put claims information on a public domain, okay? If you want a copy of it, you can, and if I run out and you want a copy, go ahead and email our general email box, I'll get you one. But I can't publish it. Yeah, thanks. Hey, Rob, where'd you go? Where'd you go? I appreciate.
All it's going to do is benefit us.
Right, no, I agree, and I appreciate you looking into that. So, keep talking to me about claim stuff.
Oh, and also, he did not know that the book was wrong.
Oh, he didn't know the book was wrong, right? He said he went back, I think his email said to you that he went back 3 or 4 mining guides, and it was right in the previous mining guides. So it's only as good as the person that's inputting the data. So maybe they got to pay their clerks, another $1 or $2 an hour. Yes, sir.
Curiosity, why don't you guys buy a handheld GPS? You can go to that claim mark and
Good
We
idea.
need a claims committee, we need a guy
Yeah,
to
what
hold that
what
GPS.
this member's asking is as a club, why don't we go out and buy a GPS and go out there and check our claim markers and that. I don't know that our claims committee doesn't have a GPS in the trailer. Right now, I don't have a claims committee to check that for me, but if we don't, that's a very good suggestion, and that's something we'll talk about. Yeah. Yeah, if we don't have a handheld GPS, that's something that the board can talk about getting. That's a very good idea. I don't know that we have one. I'd have to check the trailer.
Back there.
Hold on. Okay. And Rob just stated that if you guys fill out your mining reports, if you go, I think I even posted a link on the Facebook page, and I'll put a link on the website too, to the mining report that you can fill out for the GPAA. If you guys are out on claims and you notice something, you know, don't tell them you found a 5-pound nugget, but certainly tell them if the coordinates are off or if you've used that claim, because there's some claims that I've never been to, and maybe other people haven't been to, that we're not using, and maybe we could, or if you have an idea for a new claim, maybe you found something that's been abandoned, and you know, fill out those mining guide reports. I'll put a link on the website for everybody.
Smartphones have very good, accurate GPSs built in using Google Earth.
You are absolutely right. Mine does. I forgot about that.
Also, I have multiple GPSs for vehicles, so I will volunteer that. And whoever logs claims, don't they have the GPS coordinates of the claim?
Absolutely they do. Absolutely they do. Yeah, but they get them from, I would assume, I don't know because I've never been on a claims committee. Okay, so car GPSs aren't as accurate as handheld GPSs. Okay.
You can check the accuracy of the GPS by going to the GPS portion. And sorry, am I too loud? I have very big voice.
At any rate, you can check the accuracy.
See, generally my cell phone
Is 1.5 meters. If you're in a good area with a lot of satellites, you're going to have better accuracy. Yes, our ones are not as good as the handheld ones. But Google Earth has been regularly 1.5 to 2 meters for me.
You.
Yes, I'm willing.
Yeah, the
to
batteries
help.
are dying.
I got together with him also. Fred gave me a bunch of coordinates.
Double A.
All right, we're gonna, I'm gonna go through, let's see, Pete, where are you, Pete? I know you're here. Our liaison to the BLM, where are you hiding, Pete? He's really hiding.
Pete's over there.
Oh, come on up. Pete took over our liaison to the BLM last month, and what he does is he keeps in touch with the BLM and gets information on claims, and he'll explain it to you. But talk loud to get the mic, please.
Contacting with the BLM if they got there's a problem with something on the club level. BLM is supposed to get a hold of the club, probably through me, and trying to get them to coordinate with us is very difficult. And when you do have a problem, it's extremely difficult to find the right person to get in contact with that can help you, because of the bureaucracy is huge.
It's very difficult to get a hold of the right person at the BLM. They're constantly changing, and I still have to get my contact information back because the BLM book disappeared apparently. And that had all my contacts in it, so.
Glad you gave it back.
Karen, did you get the book back from the BLM book back from?
I thought I gave it.
Okay, thank you. Right now, does anybody have any questions for me regarding working with the BLM?
Hey, Pete,
Yes.
I tried to contact you to see if you'd still wanted to be a mentor.
Uh-huh.
Maybe on your phone,
Okay. I'll take care of it. Okay. If anybody has any questions or wants me to do something with the BLM, my name and everything is in the newsletter. Okay.
Thank you, Pete.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, we're moving on to the internet and media report.
Okay, I'm going to put on my other hat. For those of you that are on Facebook, we have 749 members now. We're very active. All newsletters and agendas and all that good stuff is loaded up to the Facebook files. You can download it anytime. Newsletters are available here at the meeting. They're available for download on the website. They go all the way back to 2014 if you're really bored and you want to do some reading. T-shirts. Okay, we are going to order a mass load of T-shirts for the Gold Show because we sold quite a few last year. So what I need to do is get approval from the membership for the expenditure because it's around $1,500. We're going to order 200 shirts. If we order 200 shirts, we get a huge break on screen printing charges and labor charges. We were going to order 150, but the price difference is so negligible if we order 200 that it's worth the extra expense. So what I have to ask you guys for is approval to spend $1,500 on T-shirts for sale to the membership and for sale to those people at the Gold Show. Oh yeah, we're gonna, and one thing I'm gonna do, now you guys can special order some shirts for me tonight if you need an extra large size. I'll have a couple double X's, XLs, larges if you want to order a triple X, a long sleeve. Zip-up hoodies will be available. This batch is gonna say 2016 Gold Show on it. We're gonna make a little special edition. So we've done that artwork. I have some different colors being ordered. If you want to learn about them, come and see me at the break or after we're done here, and I'll walk you through what I'm going to order. But I will have 200. They're going to be 100 of the want to see my nugget shirts. I know, is somebody modeling one of those tonight?
Leo, you got your nugget shirt on?
No. Okay, we have some in the bin, and then the other one will.
Carolyn's got one.
Carolyn's got one on. That'd be this style here. Oh no, not that one. That's the other one. It says what you guys see them. And then the basic logo shirts that everybody wears. Yeah, we only have 50 shirts left. So I need a motion.
Motion.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? I abstain. We're good. Okay, thanks guys. Pet food raffle. If you're new here, I do a pet food drive for Sun Valley Animal Shelter, which is in Glendale, which is by my house. I chose it because it's no kill, easy to drop off for me. If you bring me pet food, you get a raffle ticket. Every quarter now, this year, I draw out of that bucket for a $50 gift card to Darden Restaurants or some restaurant chain. You do not need to be present to win. So if you're a snowbird and you're heading back early, bring your pet food, get a ticket, put your phone number on it. If you win, I'll mail it to you. And Jerry is proof of that. And Pat won my last one. I have been working with the GPAA to try to get our events, our meetings, our outings published. We got a nice write-up in the Pick and Shovel Gazette this month. If you guys didn't see it, it's on page 9. I am very proud of that. And because of that, we are getting so many calls for people wanting to come in from out of state to join us. So Vegas is coming. I've got people from New Mexico, Oregon, California. We are going to have a hell of a shindig in March. So we need help. Yeah, we're going to need some help. So, if you're going to come out, if you can think about helping set up, help barbecue. There's going to be a lot of new people, so we're going to need a lot of mentors to kind of take these people by the hand. We will have all our equipment running, like Randy said, but we're also, if you go to the GPAA website now, in the bottom, it comes up with the most current events. We are now listed in those events. So we're getting more and more interest. And the other thing I want to say is a new chapter started in New Mexico. I have an email here from the gentleman David in Silver City, New Mexico. GPAA sent him to us for help setting up his chapter. So that just tells you guys how good we're all doing. It's because of all you guys and everything we're doing together that's making our chapter one of the best chapters in the country. We're the most active, we're one of the biggest, and you guys should all be proud of yourselves for that. I mean, look at tonight, we've got 150 people here. This is probably, I think this is the biggest crowd we've had.
I mean, without a Gold Show, usually have
Yeah. So thank you everybody for supporting us, for helping us, for being there for us. You guys are all valuable. We want to see you all out on the common dig, okay? Every single one of you. And state trust permits. Question keeps coming up about state trust permits. There's a lot of state trust land out in Morristown. You have to have a permit to camp on it. Most notably is Jackass Flats. When you cross this little San Domingo, you got those two big camping areas with the burrow on top of the hill. That's state trust land. Fill out some people don't want to pay the state, they don't believe in it, and that's okay. But if you're okay with doing that, I printed some permits for everybody. I have about 20 of them. That's the one that you fill out and you either take to the office or you mail it in. You get your permit right away. It's good for a year from the date that you pay for it. I also have a link in the Facebook, one of the Facebook posts. I'll repost it if you guys need it, and I'll put the link on the website. The website I'm trying to improve continually too. We now have training videos and fun videos and metal detecting videos and places to go. And so visit the website, take a peek around. Let me know if you see something you want added. I'll add it. I'll be happy to do it. Or if you see an improvement, or if you just like it, just let me know what you guys think. Drop me an email. Let me know what you guys think. Any questions for me? I do.
How does that work, state permit? Per person, per vehicle?
The permit is a family permit, so it's I think it'd be per vehicle. Yeah.
Bob, you got one, don't you?
I have one. I can't find it.
How much is it?
They're- It's $20 for a family. 15 individual, 20 for a family. And they've been patrolling. They've been out there patrolling. I know somebody who actually got a ticket. So, yeah, it's a good fine. You know, sometimes they'll be nice and let you go, and sometimes they're not so nice. Depends on what they have for breakfast, I guess, right? So.
Additional fee to prospect, or are we covered under the club?
You cannot prospect on state trust land. You cannot metal detect, you cannot prospect. And that brings me to one more thing. In your newsletter, Harold Kelly he's got a friend who's a state senator. She is trying to work with the government to allow metal detecting on state trust land. There's a little article in your newsletter. It asks him to write to her and ask her to forward our concerns to, others, to the state. I have a printout of a sample letter that somebody sent, explaining how we take care of the land, how we fill our holes, how we pull out trash, how we're actually beneficial to the land that's out there. So if you guys want to, take a shot at it and voice your opinion, I've got the sample letter up here, but the information on where to send your concerns or, requests is in the newsletter. So that's all I got. Any other questions? All good? All in? All done? Yay. Thank you, guys.
All right, Emperor, get up here. Emperor Leo, hold your applause. All right. Leo, Leo, Leo.
Hi, I'm Leo, and I'm along with Woody, who never comes up here. We do the events. We're doing the Gold Show. I have the sign-up sheets on the table. We have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, if anybody's interested in coming, help setting up, doing the show and tearing down. I have some flyers and some posters if anybody has places at work. They want to put a poster up or hand out some flyers to friends. They're here at the table. And I'm also got a pocket with some tickets in it. If you buy them from me tonight or off anyway, they're $5 a shot. Otherwise, they're $10 at the door. We're also planning a thing with our friend Mike with the Wounded Warriors. He's got 10 buddies that got a little messed up, so we're going to take them and their families, take them prospecting, throw them a barbecue. A lot of them are interested, so we're going to need some help. And we get the dates and everything arranged. I hope a lot of you guys come out and support these guys who gave their all right? All right, so anybody got any questions? If they do, keep them to yourself, and I'll talk to you later. No. Yeah, we're working on the parking. So one way or the other, we'll take care of it somehow.
There is camping. If you guys want to stay, there are big RV spots to the west of the arena. They're $30 a night. They have full hookups. So if somebody, I'm going to camp. I think Mike and Don are going to camp. This will be there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So there is camping available if you guys want to pay and hook up and we'll take a nap midway through.
Yeah, but for the volunteers, we're going to try to do something.
What buildings are they using?
Just the Coliseum. Just the Coliseum. Okay. Anybody have any? Stand up. You. I forgot your name. I'm sorry. which I forgot. Al. Al's got some things he needs done. They're having a Girl Scout thing up at Lake Pleasant. And they're going to do some panning and some gold demonstrations and stuff like that. And he wants some volunteers to help. I didn't realize that we have an outing that weekend. I got my grandson's birthday that weekend, so that leaves Valentine's, yeah, so that leaves that. But if anybody could give Al a hand and show up at Lake Pleasant and teach these kids to pan, it'd be most appreciated. Where's it at, Al?
They have a learning center. I've never been to it, in Lake Pleasant. I heard it's pretty nice. It's going to be out there. It's going to be on the 13th, Saturday the 13th. February?
Yeah, February.
Yeah, it's called Wild in the City. It's put on by the Arizona Alpha Society. And they teach them, they break up the kids into different groups and teach them how to pan. We even split the group in half. We take half of them out to church for pennies for metal detectors. Because they get kind of bored. What part of the lake is it in?
What day?
What are you doing? What are you doing there? I see you.
Al, give me the information. I'll create an event for it, and I'll put it on the website for announcement. Okay?
All right, so if anybody can give Al a hand, if it wasn't for the outings and stuff, we would be there. He knows we would be there. You know, any other time those kids need to classes, you know, we'll be there, but I didn't realize I had that thing going. So please, anybody could help him with these Girl Scouts, it'd be appreciated. Anybody got anything else?
Or the Roadrunners.
What's that?
Maybe the Roadrunners would help.
No, I don't know. I don't belong to them.
I'll post an event.
We'll get somebody out there. All right, anybody else? All right, bye.
All right. Thank you, Leo.
Nice job.
Anybody have any questions for him? See him at the break. We're going to take a break right now. Yeah, we're probably going to come back in about 12 and a half minutes. So go to Aaron's presentation, then we'll break for the raffles. So if anybody, new members, want to come up and see me, I'll be here. Any questions, comments, and concerns?
Not as big as the ticket.
You look good going.
Good save.
Are you guys ready? All right. My name's Erin Hickson, and I'm a forensic science composite artist for the city, and we'll kind of go over that too, so I draw the pictures of the suspects. I'm just going to go over what we do in the crime lab, just to give you guys an idea. It's just something different. Obviously, it has nothing to do with gold prospecting. Unless somebody steals your gold, then we might be able to help you out. But I'm just going to start the presentation, all right? We have 3 different types of employees at the lab. We have the crime scene technicians, and they're the ones that go to the crime scene, take photographs, collect the evidence. Like you see on the news, you see those vans that are out there? That's our crime scene technicians. Laboratory technician helps out the forensic scientist, so I'm the one looking at the evidence itself. We're located at 7th Avenue in Washington. There's the main police station across the street that you see on the news all the time. They're always doing their newscast there. We're on the southeast corner of 7th Avenue in Washington. So I'm going to go over crime scene response first. Can everybody hear me okay? Okay. Again, they do a lot of stuff. They're the ones that are going to the crime scene. So they're assisting the detectives and the police officers and the fire department. They're going to go out and do a lot of photography and the victims, the suspects, the scene itself. And when they take a picture of a scene, they take the overall picture, and then they take a closer picture and a closer picture. And then if they pick up a piece of evidence and there's evidence under it, they have to step back and do more pictures. So that's why it can take a long time to process a scene. They do fingerprints. Picking up latents means a fingerprint left at the scene. So something maybe you can't see and they dust and they see a fingerprint, they'll lift that, or they'll take a photograph of it if they can't lift it. GSR is gunshot residue. I'm sure you've all heard of that. If you fire a gun or you're around a gun that's fired, or you touch something that was around a gun that was fired, you can get gunshot residue on you. It's a dust. So if you're sweating, it'll come off. If you wash your hands, it'll come off, that kind of thing. They do DNA swabbing. They can do something called the electrostatic dust print lifter. It's a big name for something that, so everybody that's walking along this ground, this would be pretty muddled because there's so many people, but they can put it on the ground and it lets an electric charge out and it brings up a footprint. So then they can take a photograph of it and see that footprint. Casting, have you guys seen that on TV where they do the casting of the footprints or the tire prints? Let's see, they ink the dead and the living, so they'll go over to the medical examiner's office and do the fingerprints on the dead people. That's pretty much why I don't work in crime scene, because it's gross. They'll do bullet impact testing, so trying to determine if a bullet really made the hole, so they'll test for lead or copper. Trajectory, they're going to find out the angle that the bullet flew. I'm sure you've seen that on TV where they stick the fluorescent sticks or the laser through it. Alternate light source, that just means they turn the flashlight different ways and they have different light waves. You can look at a piece of evidence and you turn the flashlight the other way and then all of a sudden you see something new. Blood spatter, you've probably seen that on TV too. It's kind of like CSI on TV, but then it's actually nothing like that, no. So again, they're working out at the scene, long hours. They can be at a scene for 24 hours and then have to come back again. So we'll move on. So evidence processing unit, basically once crime scene is done with their evidence, they're going to impound it into the crime lab, and then all of the other sections are going to take a look at it. So evidence processing is one of the first places that evidence goes to. They're looking for fingerprints and DNA. So they have to do that in a very specific order, because if they swab everything for DNA, the fingerprints are gone, right? So they need to do that fingerprint analysis first. And they do a bunch of different things. Have you guys seen the super glue hood? That's been on a few shows. They do that. They also do a bunch of chemical processes where they bring up fingerprints that look like that. And then they'll take a photograph of it, they'll lift it, just like they do at crime scene as well. So for firearms, where I work, a lot of the guns will go to evidence processing first, because I don't like to wear gloves when I work with a gun. So they need to clean it up and see if there's fingerprints or DNA, because my fingerprints and DNA are going to get all over the gun. That's pretty much what evidence processing does. So they can also look at water bottles or anything that they think has DNA or fingerprints. Toxicology, this is actually how I started in the lab. I used to process DUIs all the time, so I've testified over 250 times in court. They're doing the blood alcohol analysis, blood drug analysis. So with the city of Phoenix, if you get pulled over for a DUI, you're getting your blood drawn. It's mostly because we're super mean. But, no, I'm just kidding. We do that because we can test the blood for drugs, where if we do a breath test, that sample's now gone. The officer would give you an opportunity to go down and get a blood draw, but if you've been drinking, you're probably not going to run on down there and get that. So we also keep a second vial for evidence, for the person to test later on. So if the person wants to get it individually tested, they can, because we've got a sample saved. They can do urine drug analysis and also toxic vapor. So if somebody's spraying spray paint or anything they're huffing, we can test that and tell the officer what they were huffing. We don't really do the breath testing program anymore. That's just for minors or if there's a medical reason that we can't get a blood draw. Again, we testify a lot in this section. It gave me a really good experience, but I could not wait to get out. So this is something that, I'm sorry, what's that? We're going to have to tackle that. I have no idea how they're going to handle that. We've already had a few different weird things that happen with people selling marijuana, and it's kind of a thin line of can you really sell it? And some guys got in a shootout over it and killed somebody over it. Right. Well, they're looking for a very specific. Well, we're looking for a very specific metabolite that is actually, it's basically the way your body breaks down marijuana, so what's left, and it's something that actually impairs you. So the marijuana that's in your system for a long time is a little different than the one metabolite that's actually impairing you.
What is the medical reason that you can't take a blood test?
What I've heard is, she asked what the medical reason is that we can't do a blood draw. What I've heard the reasoning is if somebody's missing a limb, they don't want you to do a blood draw or a breast. I'm not really sure why they don't want you to do that, so that's why they won't do it, or for a minor as well. What you're seeing up here is called horizontal gaze nystagmus. So when you see an officer doing the pen test, this is what they're looking for. When somebody looks at the very extreme, their eye bounces. So that's exactly what we're looking for. That's what you start to see when somebody gets an 08 or higher. Or if they have really low tolerance to alcohol, it can be a lot lower. So somebody younger.
Is the officer supposed to or ask you if you've had a traumatic brain injury?
Yes, absolutely. Yep. And then we can also see what's called vertical gaze nystagmus, which is the same thing, but it's when you're looking up, and that's when they're extremely heavy on alcohol, or it can be other drugs as well. It can be, yes. And again, that's something that you want to tell the officer if that's something you have. What? Well, again, yeah, that would be something you'd want to tell the officer. We're not only looking for that as well, we're also looking for odor of alcohol, other signs and symptoms, the bloodshot, watery eyes, and all kinds of stuff.
All they want to do is say, have you been drinking? They say, yeah, but then they want to check you, and that might have been only iced tea or water or Coke.
That's true. That's very true. Any questions, any more about DUI stuff? So this is controlled substances. We talked about toxicology, where they're testing the actual blood or the urine to see if there's drugs in there. This section is actually testing the drugs themselves. So they get, again, all these different drugs: marijuana, ecstasy, heroin, cocaine, meth. Mostly what we're seeing right now in the lab is methamphetamine, and we do see heroin as well. That we're starting to see that a lot more. Cocaine we don't see very often. Ecstasy we see fairly often, but most of it's meth. That's mostly what's going through the lab. And they can also test prescription drugs. So if we get somebody that's driving and they're all over the road and they have something in a baggie and we need to test it, we'll test it as well. We can look at the pill and identify it, but for court purposes, we have to do a chemical test on it, same as marijuana or any of that stuff. So when we get those big, large seizures where we have the bales of marijuana, we don't take that whole bale into the lab and test it. We just take a sample out of the middle and test it. And then they can go out to the CLAN lab. So where people are actually making drugs, they'll go out and test that and get samples and all kinds of stuff. So forensic biology, that is a very fancy name for DNA, but they like to be fancy up there. There's a reason I don't work in this section as well, because they look at disgusting stuff as well. The screening side, they're the ones looking for the sample. They want to find semen or blood or any type of cellular material. They do the swabs on maybe a bottle of water. They can even do an envelope. It's a very, very small amount of sample that they need. They can also look at a hair. If it's got a good root on it, they can do a DNA sample on that as well. So once screening looks at it, then it goes over to the DNA side, and they actually do all the analysis on it and run it through the computer and that kind of fun stuff. Now they have a system called CODIS, and I'm sure you've seen that on TV. That's where they run someone's sample, and then it comes back and it says it's this guy, he did it. And that's basically what this system does. It does connect you to people. There's only suspects and missing people in there. We don't put anybody else. So if something happens at your home and they want to take a sample of your DNA, because we just did a swab all over your house, we know your DNA is going to be there, you're not going to go into this system. You're actually just going to be tested against the samples that we get to make sure that we're not trying to run you as a suspect. So we use an elimination, basically. So you don't go into this system. The federal government really regulates this, and they check them very regularly to make sure they're only putting suspects or missing people in there. And then we have the latent print section. So they're sitting at their desk in little cubicles, and they're bent over looking through little magnifying glasses at fingerprints. So what they do is they get the fingerprints that crime scene picked up and that latent print, or that EPU picked up, and they're looking at those. They're putting them into their system, which is called APHIS, and that one I'm sure you've seen on TV as well. So that's where fingerprints go in, and then the computer comes back and it shoots up a match and has the picture of the guy and says he likes dogs and he's an Aquarius and all that kind of stuff. The way that our system works is a bunch of matches come up. It's usually within the top 10, but there's a lot that come up. So we'll physically go through and look at them, and if we find one that's viable, that looks like it matches, we'll actually call the evidence up and do the analysis that way. So we never trust the computer with that kind of stuff. They can also look at the 10 print cards when a suspect is arrested and they have their fingerprints rolled. They'll get those as well. So if they say, you know, we think it's this suspect, they're related to this scene, can you take a look at it? They'll go ahead and do that analysis as well. They also do priors. So if somebody got arrested for a DUI years ago and they're back again and they want to say, you know, the officer says, yes, they've already been arrested. They've done a fingerprint before. They'll do one right in court, roll their finger, and then they'll do the analysis right there to make sure that's the right person. And then we have trace and arson. So trace is any evidence that's left behind. So it can be hairs, tissues, fibers. That's what this section is looking at. Basically, if something doesn't fit in another section, we throw it to them and try to make them figure it out. We've had a case where there were a bunch of knots that were tied up the victim. They were really weird. So we just gave them the rope and told them to figure it out. And it happened to be nautical, and then they looked into it, and it was a sailor, and it went on and on. But so they're not really looking at the hairs and fibers like you see on TV where they match it up and go, it's a brown hair, it was totally him. We can look at it and say, yeah, it's similar, but people can dye their hair very easily, and that all changes. And fibers, just because they're similar doesn't mean that that is the right fiber. So that's more circumstantial stuff. They don't really do much with it. But they will look at paint chips. So we have a hit and run, the victim's laying on the side of the road, and we find a vehicle that has a dent and we think it might be them. If we find a paint chip on the victim, we can test that. We literally test the chemical properties and also look at the levels of paint on it. So like the primer and all that kind of stuff, we're going to compare them as well. So that's one thing that they do. They look at glass, try to determine if it's from a house, is it from a windshield, is it from a side window? All of those are different types of glass. Tool marks, when we were talking about the tool marks we actually do in firearms, so I'll go over that in a sec. The tire impressions and the footwear impressions that crime scene does, these are the guys that look at it. So they get the shoe, and then they get the impression, and then they're going to do the analysis. They can look at tape. So we've had victims, actually we have a lot of victims, unfortunately, that are wrapped up with duct tape. So we get that duct tape in. First we look at it for fingerprints and DNA, and then it goes to these guys. And they not only look at the tear on the edge if we have duct tape from a possible suspect, but they're also looking at how the tape is made, because there's a ton of different types of duct tape out there. And headlamps, somebody says, I don't know why that guy didn't see me, I had my headlights on. Well, it's just like when you think of a light bulb. When the light bulb is on, how the filament can break and then the light bulb goes out. The way that's the same exact thing that happens with headlamps. When the headlamp is on, that coil gets really hot. When you're involved in an accident, it's very brittle and it'll break. So if that coil is perfectly wound and not distorted at all, we know that the headlamps were off during that accident. So that's some things they can look at. And they also help with arson. So they help out the fire department. When they're collecting evidence from a possible arson scene, so somebody lit a fire on purpose, they do chemical tests and try to figure out what they used. Most of it's gasoline. I'm trying to go through this really fast, so sorry if it's too fast for you. Again, this is where I work, in the firearms section, the coolest section in the lab. I brought my business card, so if anybody wants a tour of the lab, we can set that up. If it's a small enough group, I can show you the actual firearms. We have over 1,000 firearms in our section. We use them for fun. No, well, we do. We kind of do. But they're mostly for parts. So our clientele don't really treat their guns very nicely. So they have missing parts. Or if they have a felony, they're not allowed to own a gun. They're not allowed to carry a gun. They're not allowed to have a gun near them, really. So if we find a firearm on them and it's missing a bunch of parts and you can't just pick it up and fire it, doesn't mean that it's okay. If I can take it into the lab and make it work, even if I have to use a wooden dowel and a spring out of my pen, but I can make it work, it's against the law for them to have that. So that's why we have all those guns for those parts. But again, we have a workshop as well, and I have used both of those things, a little wooden dowel and a spring out of my pen to make a gun work. So whatever works. So I'm going to go over firearms in a little bit more detail. Here's a picture of some of our guns in our collection. We have revolvers and pistols and shotguns and AKs and ARs and everything you can think of. It's a really cool collection. So again, if you guys do want to check it out, just let me know. I'll take you down there. You can't shoot them though. Sorry. I know. So one of the things that we do when we get guns in, first we look for trace. So is there blood, hair, tissue, fiber, anything that's going to fall off when I'm doing the analysis, I want to collect that first. So I'll take a photograph of it, do a swab, whatever I need to do. Once I've done that, I take the gun apart. Not springs and pins and stuff, but I'll take it down to where I can see if all the right parts are there. I want to make sure that it's not going to blow up on me when I go downstairs to shoot it. We have a range there in the lab, so down in our basement, I'll kind of show you some pictures. But so the function testing, again, like I was talking about, we want to make sure that, or see if the gun functions at all. We do have guns that are welded together and they're just a blob. Well, then we're not going to try to shoot those. Oh, this one is a 50 BMG that we just got. We're actually getting a Barrett. We're really excited. So anything that we have in the lab was found at a scene. May not have been fired. I don't think that one had been fired in a crime, but it was there at a scene, so we got it into the lab. Here's our water tank. So down in the basement, we have two different ways of collecting evidence. We can fire into the water tank, or I'll show you another picture of our range, which is right next door. So we'll shoot full metal jackets into here. The jacketed hollow points, if we fire that into water, the point of a hollow point is when it hits the body, which is mostly water, it opens up and stops inside the body. And if we shoot that into the water here, it's going to open up and tear apart. So that destroys the evidence. We can't do a comparison to see if it's from the scene or not. So we won't shoot that in here. That's what our officers fire, all jacketed hollow points. And if you see it on TV, they call it the buzzsaw of death, and it's spinning through and cutting the guy open, and it doesn't even make a full turn. Again, the idea is we shoot the suspect and we don't want to shoot a victim behind him. We want that bullet to open up, stop in the body, and that's it. So anyway, yeah, we'll shoot the full metal jackets into here from pistols and revolvers. We can fire rifles into here, but the problem with the rifle round is it's long and skinny, so when it hits the water, it bends. So again, we're kind of distorting the evidence. So here's our range. That's a zombie down at the end that we're shooting at. We try to put something fun down there, and then we get in trouble with admin, so now we just have circle targets to shoot at. But that tube that you guys see right here on the right, that's just one of those cardboard tubes that you get from Home Depot, and you pour concrete in it and make a base for a pole. And then all the yellow stuff that you see is shredded Kevlar. So our officers, their vests expire every 5 years, which sounds silly because Kevlar doesn't go bad, but they do get really sweaty here in Phoenix, so they're going to get really moldy. So they expire them. When they do that, we take them down into the range, shred it. It's very therapeutic. You just sit there and shred for hours, and then we fill this tube. Now we can shoot jacketed hollow points. We can shoot our rifle rounds. We can even shoot full metal jackets in here, and we can collect those bullets and take them upstairs and do comparisons. The rifle rounds will go kind of deep, so you get covered in Kevlar. It's very, very static as well. And then shotguns, we shoot downrange, so we shoot the zombie with the shotguns. So we do different things. We can do a gun prediction. So this bullet that you see on the top left was out of an autopsy. That's why it's kind of meaty. So I'm looking at that and I want to determine the caliber of it and try to tell the officer what kind of gun it came out of, at least to try to give them an idea of what they're looking for. So we do that very often. And then this over here on the right is from a shotgun. I'm sure most of you have probably seen these. It's called a wad. That's not the only way that wads look. Some of them are just cardboard discs that are piled in there. We have one that actually had nickels in it that somebody loaded their own. But we can look at those and at least give them an idea of the caliber. That's about all we're going to tell them with a shotgun wad. Sometimes we have the wads that come out of the bodies. So we want to tell them, yeah, it was a 12 gauge or whatever. We do serial number restoration. So somebody grinds the serial number off of their gun. First off, it's a federal offense, so they're going to be charged with that. And then what we're going to do is try to bring that number back up to try to figure out who the gun came from and maybe find out where it was stolen from. Unfortunately, the owner can't get that back, but I think if they go through the ATF, they might be able to get it re-serialized, I think. But you can kind of see the number that's over here on the right that we brought up. The way that that works is the metal is a crystalline structure. I'm going to try to use both hands. So when the number is pounded into the gun or even laser etched into the gun, it changes that structure, not only where you see the number, but underneath. So when it does that, we can go through and smooth it out and use chemicals and try to bring that change up, and then we can get that number back. It's very frustrating. I'm a very instant gratification kind of gal, so when it takes me a whole day to get a serial number, I'm very angry. But I'm good at it, but it irritates me. We do distance determination. How far was the gun from the victim? We have the girlfriend or boyfriend at the house saying, you know what, they shot themselves, I came home and found them like this, and then we find out the gun was like 4 feet away. Probably not. So we'll do that kind of testing. We need a lot of stuff, though, to do that. We need the weapon. We need to know exactly what kind of ammo was used. The conditions, was the wind blowing? There's a lot of different things that go into that, but we can at least give them an idea. And we don't tell them it was 3 feet. We'll give them a range, probably 2 to 4 feet. We don't tell them exact numbers. And we also do that testing looking for lead and copper. We'll do that too, because you'll get an item of clothing that has holes in it. You think, man, this guy was shot a lot. And then you find out it's just a really holy shirt. So comparison, that's mostly what we're doing in there, the gun functions and the comparison. So we want to find out, did that bullet come from that gun? So that's what we're doing. We're looking at the bullets. These markings that you see on the bullets are from lands and grooves. So inside the barrel of a gun is a cutout, and it twists either left or right. The point of that is when the bullet is engaged into the barrel, we want it to twist. And the reason is, just like when you see someone throw a football, they don't throw it like I do, where you just kind of grab it and throw it. I'm really bad at throwing a football, and it kind of tumbles and never goes where it's supposed to go. Well, that's what would happen if you had a gun without the rifling. It's not going to fly very accurately. So this engages into that rifling, it twists it, and then it flies right to where it's supposed to go, most times. So it's supposed to help with accuracy. Well, those markings that are made on those bullets are very individual, because the tools that do that make those cuts, are constantly changing as it goes down the barrel to cut that out. So we can do comparisons and determine if that bullet was from that gun. And we can do the same thing with the casing. Again, there's a bunch of different tools that go into the way that a gun works, and I won't go into detail for you guys, but those tools also make individual marks, so we can do that comparison as well. Okay, do you guys have any questions about the crime lab at all?
How come you're not on TV?
Right? Oh my gosh, I don't know.
Do you ever get homemade firearms?
Yes, we do. We do get homemade firearms. Sometimes we fire them. Sometimes we just put a primed casing in them because they're terrifying. But we haven't had the plastic ones. You guys have seen the 3D plastic ones. We haven't had any of those come in yet. Mostly because they explode when somebody fires them. So if they use them, we're not really going to get much but a pile of stuff. So we might just test it for gunshot residue. But yeah, we get homemade firearms fairly often. So, any other questions? Yes. What's that? I do not. No, which is probably good because I have a weak stomach when it comes to disgusting stuff, i.e. that's again why I work in firearms. So my DNA would probably be at every scene that there was a dead body, especially if it smelled.
They used to sell the
They do. They actually sold them for a long time, and then people got all mad because we're letting more guns out into this society, whatever. And then they finally realized, look at all this money we're losing, so now they do sell them again. Somebody finally got senses back and sold them. So, Where do you go to buy those? There's an auction online, and I'm not sure. You could probably go to phoenix.gov and find it. They also sell them in big lots to companies, so I'm not sure if they're selling them individually like they used to. It might just be to large companies. Did somebody have a question over here? I saw an arm up. No? Okay. All right, I'll move on. So again, I do the composite drawings. I have a couple of my drawings that I've done on here. I interview the victim or the witness. I get a description from them of what the person looks like, and then I do a drawing with a pencil and a piece of paper and a lot of eraser. I use a lot of eraser. Somebody told me I should do tattoos. I was like, well, if you can erase, I'm all about it. So this is kind of an idea of how what I do works. So recognition is being able to look at something and go, yeah, that's it. That's what the guy looks like. Where recall is going, okay, he was white and he had short brown hair. It's just much harder. And it's also their description of it. I might have a very different idea of what it looks like. So I actually have a book that's literally called Heads, and it's a bunch of people with bald heads. And I have people go through there to pick out face parts. So the face shape, the ears, the nose, the eyes, all that stuff. So I'm going to show you guys a face. I want you to remember him. Look at him very, very deeply into his eyes, because he's going to come back again. You guys got him? You got him burned into your brain? All right. You didn't know this was going to be interactive, huh? Sorry. Okay, so nature of identification. This is how what I do works. A photograph is obviously a copy of what somebody looks like, right? We know exactly. I take a picture of you, I turn around, that's you. And a drawing is a sketch. So what we're trying to do is get the essence of that person. We want to get what the person, I try to get their best impression of them. Did they have big ears and they just looked really scary? Well, let's draw that, because that might be, it may not look exactly like them, but when somebody sees my drawing and they look in the crowd and go, man, look at that big ears, it looks real scary. That could totally be him. So here's an example of why what I do works. So you guys know who that is? Right, and that's not a photograph, that's a drawing. So, but again, it's getting essentially what he looks like. You guys know who that is? How about that guy? So again, that's just giving you an idea of how my drawings may not look perfect, because people are very skeptical. They see it on the news and go, well, his nose is totally different. Well, the victim is literally remembering what the person looked like. So if they get the essence of what that person looked like and we can get the suspect, then that's great. You guys remember which one it was? Right. So if you guys described him to me, you would say dark hair, mustache, beard, right? So if you're describing it to me, it's much harder. But if you can look at pictures and pick something out, it's much easier. So that's the recognition versus recall. So these are some of my drawings. This one was just one. I did not put my first picture. My husband always wants me to show everybody the first picture I ever drew in class. We called it the alien. It was really, really, really bad. So I did not put that in here. Sorry. I'm not really. Okay, so this guy was the second person that I drew in class. So this is basically what we do. So it's one person's eyebrows, eyes, nose, head shape, ears, everything. These are all different people stuck in a head. I call him Mr. Clean. But I was pretty proud of that picture after I saw the alien picture. So, and again, I had 2 days to draw this picture. When I'm doing a composite, I have about 1.5 hours to 2 hours. So again, they may not look as beautiful as this does, but well, I think that looks beautiful, but that's just me. So my composites aren't as detailed. So beautiful. So this was another one that I did in class. I just wanted to show you that it looks like it's the same person, but it's not. It's two different people, and I just had to glue them together. So I drew this, and then a girl at the same table drew the same person, and she drew his eyes straight, and I was like, I swear that guy had a googly eye. And yeah, so anyway, again, you're just trying to capture what that person looks like. That's it. That's all I got.
I gotta present our guest speaker with a little gift for doing this for us tonight. It's a little gold nugget for you to take home. Thank you, Aaron. And thanks to my videographer, Sheldon, back there. Aaron's presentation will be online probably tomorrow or Saturday. Yeah, we'll post it on the website. And we have a YouTube channel now that you can subscribe to, so it'll go on our YouTube channel, and I'll put it up on our website for you guys if you want to review it. Thank you, Aaron. Sure. Okay, and some young gentleman was kind enough, and I didn't get to acknowledge him last meeting, and he's done it again. Braden, where are you? That young man right there has drawn us some pretty nice artwork here. So Braden, I want to thank you. I really like these, and we're going to keep them, okay? All right, thanks. And actually, Braden, come here. I got something for you. Do you have a pan already? You want another one? Sure. Do you like the Penelope pen? Do you like the Penelope pen? All right, we got to adjourn this meeting, so I'll give it back to the president.
Does everybody have a pink door prize ticket? First, we're going to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Motion. Second? All in favor? Okay. Anybody else need a pink door prize ticket? Back there?
I'll take a second.
Gentleman over there with the beard deal.